Every great speaker you admire today was once a person who struggled to speak. Many people think confident speakers are born with a special gift, but the truth is that speaking is a skill that can be learned through practice. This is the story of a young man named Adam. Adam was a quiet person who had many thoughts in his mind, but he could not express them with his words. Whenever he tried to speak in front of people, his heart started beating faster, his hands became cold, and his voice became weak. Many times he knew the answer but stayed silent because of fear. People thought he had nothing interesting to say, but they did not know that inside his mind was a world full of ideas, dreams, feelings, and stories. One day, Adam watched a famous speaker giving a powerful speech in front of thousands of people. He saw the speaker's confidence and wondered why he could not speak like that. After the speech, an old man noticed Adam looking worried and asked him what was wrong. Adam told him that he wanted to speak confidently, but his words got stuck whenever people looked at him. The old man smiled and said, "Do you think that speaker was always like this? No one is born a perfect speaker. Every strong voice starts as a weak voice. The difference is practice." He explained that the mouth is like a tool, and if you train it every day, it becomes stronger. Those words changed Adam's thinking. The next morning, he stood in front of a mirror and started practicing. He said his name, spoke simple sentences, and slowly trained his voice. At first, he felt strange and his voice was not perfect, but he continued. Every day, he read books loudly, told stories to himself, and recorded his voice. In the beginning, he disliked hearing his own recordings, but he remembered that every strong voice starts as a weak voice. Days passed and weeks passed. Slowly, his voice became clearer, his fear became smaller, and his confidence became stronger. One day, his teacher asked him to give a presentation. The old Adam would have avoided it, but the new Adam stood up and started speaking. His legs were shaking and his heart was beating fast, but he continued. Soon he realized that people were listening, nobody was laughing, and everyone was waiting for his words. That day, Adam learned an important lesson. The biggest enemy of speaking is not a weak voice, it is fear. Fear becomes smaller when you face it every day. Adam continued his journey, knowing that he would not become a great speaker in one day. But every small improvement would slowly create a big transformation. Adam continued practicing every day because he understood that confidence was built through small steps. He started waking up early in the morning and spending time training his voice. He read simple stories aloud, repeated difficult sentences, and practiced speaking slowly and clearly. Sometimes he made mistakes and sometimes he forgot his words, but he did not feel ashamed anymore. He learned that mistakes were not signs of failure, they were signs that he was learning. One day, Adam met the old man again and thanked him for changing his life. The old man smiled and said, "Your voice became stronger because you gave it time and practice." Remember, a person who trains every day can achieve what once seemed impossible. Adam realized that his biggest change was not only in his voice but also in his mind. Before, he always thought about what people would say about him. Now he focused on sharing his message. He started talking to strangers, asking questions, and joining small conversations. Each conversation was another exercise for his speaking skills. Slowly, people around him noticed the difference. The same person who once stayed silent was now sharing ideas with confidence. His friends asked him how he changed so much, and Adam told them that he did not discover a secret power. He simply trained his mouth and his mind every day. He explained that speaking is like learning any other skill. A person does not become a great athlete without training, and a person does not become a great speaker without practice. Months passed and Adam decided to challenge himself even more. He joined a public speaking group where people practiced speeches together. At first he was nervous, but he remembered his journey. He stood in front of the group and began to speak. His voice was not perfect, but it was strong and honest. Everyone listened carefully. After finishing his speech, people clapped for him. Adam smiled because he knew that the applause was not only for his speech, it was for the courage he had built inside himself. He learned that the power of speaking does not come from having perfect words, it comes from having the courage to share your thoughts. From that day, Adam promised himself that he would continue training his voice because he knew that a trained mouth could open doors, create opportunities, and inspire others. Adam's journey was not finished. He had learned how to speak, but now he wanted to learn how to speak with power and purpose. He understood that a strong speaker does not only use a loud voice. A strong speaker uses emotions, confidence, and clear ideas. So Adam started learning new techniques every day. He practiced controlling his breathing because he knew that a calm breath created a calm voice. Before speaking, he took a deep breath and reminded himself that he was ready. He also learned the importance of listening. He discovered that great speakers are also great listeners because understanding people helps you connect with them. Slowly, Adam began having deeper conversations with others. People started coming to him for advice because they felt comfortable around him. His words had become a source of hope and motivation. One day, Adam was invited to speak at a small event in his town. Many people were sitting in front of him, waiting for his speech. For a moment, his old fear returned. His mind said, "What if you make a mistake? What if people do not like your words?" But then he remembered the boy who once could not even speak in a classroom. He remembered the hours of practice, the failures, and the small victories. He smiled and stepped forward. He looked at the audience and started speaking. He shared his story about fear, practice, and never giving up. His voice was calm and powerful. People listened with full attention because his words came from real experience. When he finished, everyone stood up and applauded. Adam felt proud not because he became famous, but because he defeated the fear that once controlled him. After the event, a young boy came to him and said, "I also feel afraid when I speak. Can I become confident like you?" Adam smiled and replied, "Yes, you can, but you must train every day. Your voice is like a seed. If you take care of it, it will grow into something beautiful." Those words became a lesson for many people. Adam continued teaching others that confidence is not something you find, it is something you build. Every sentence you speak, every mistake you make, and every time you try again makes you stronger. He learned that your mouth is not only a way to speak words, it is a tool that can share dreams, create friendships, and change lives. The journey of training his mouth had changed everything. The quiet boy who once hid from conversations had become a person who inspired others with his voice. And he knew one simple truth: a powerful voice is created by daily practice, patience, and the courage to speak. Adam's story continued to inspire many people. But he knew that becoming a better speaker was a journey that never ended. He understood that even experienced speakers continued learning and improving. Every morning, Adam followed the same habit. He stood in front of a mirror, looked at himself, and practiced speaking with confidence. He worked on his pronunciation, his tone, and the way he expressed his feelings. He learned that words are not only sounds, words carry emotions. A simple sentence spoken with honesty can touch someone's heart. After some time, Adam started helping other people who were afraid of speaking. He created a small group where people could practice together. In the beginning, many members were nervous. Some people could not even introduce themselves properly. Some looked at the ground while speaking because they were afraid of making mistakes. Adam understood their feelings because he had been in the same place before. He never laughed at their mistakes. Instead, he encouraged them and said, "Every mistake is a step forward." The only real failure is refusing to try. Slowly, the members of the group started changing. People who once stayed quiet began sharing their thoughts. People who once avoided conversations started speaking with confidence. Adam was happy because he realized that his voice was not only helping himself, it was helping others too. One day, a businessman came to Adam and asked him to give a speech at a large conference. This was a bigger challenge than anything Adam had faced before. Hundreds of people would be sitting in front of him. The old fear returned again. That night, Adam could not sleep. He kept thinking about the stage, the audience, and the possibility of making mistakes. But then he remembered his old days. He remembered sitting silently in classrooms. He remembered the weak voice and the fear that controlled him. He smiled and said to himself, "I have already defeated that person. I am not the same person anymore." The next day, Adam walked onto the stage. The bright lights were shining on him and hundreds of eyes were watching. For a few seconds there was silence. Then Adam took a deep breath and started speaking. His voice was calm, his words were clear. He did not try to sound perfect. He simply shared his message from his heart. He talked about fear, failure, practice, and the power of believing in yourself. He told the audience that everyone has a voice, but many people hide it because of fear. He said, "Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. Do not let fear keep your words inside you." The audience listened carefully. Many people felt connected because they had faced the same struggles. When Adam finished his speech, the room filled with applause. But the greatest reward was not the applause. The greatest reward was knowing that his journey had become a lesson for others. Adam realized that training his mouth had also trained his mind. He became more patient, more confident, and more courageous. He learned that success does not come from being perfect. Success comes from showing up every day and becoming a little better than yesterday. And from that day forward, Adam continued sharing one important message with everyone: your voice is a gift. Train it, believe in it, and use it to make a difference. Adam's journey became an example for many people who wanted to improve themselves. He started receiving messages from people who said that his story gave them hope. Many of them had the same problem that Adam once had. They were afraid to speak, afraid to make mistakes, and afraid of what others would think. Adam always gave them the same advice: do not wait until you feel confident to start. Start practicing and confidence will come. He explained that the first step is always the hardest, but every small effort creates a stronger version of yourself. Adam continued training his own voice because he knew that learning never ends. He read books, listened to great speakers, and practiced different ways to express his thoughts. He learned how to tell stories, how to use pauses, and how to make people feel connected with his words. One day, he visited his old school and stood in the same classroom where he once sat silently. He looked at the empty chair where he used to hide from attention and smiled. He remembered the boy who was scared to raise his hand and the person he had become. He told the students that everyone has a powerful voice inside them, but that voice needs practice to become stronger. He said, "Do not compare your beginning with someone else's success." Every great speaker was once a beginner. The students listened carefully because they could see that Adam was not just giving advice, he was sharing a real experience. After the speech, a student came to him and said, "I am also afraid of speaking. I think my voice is not good enough." Adam smiled and replied, "Your voice does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be honest. When you practice every day, your voice will improve." Those words stayed with the student just as the old man's words had stayed with Adam years before. Adam realized that knowledge becomes more valuable when you share it with others. His journey from a silent person to a confident speaker showed that anyone can change with patience and dedication. He learned that a strong voice is not created in one night. It is built through daily practice, courage, and the decision to never give up. Every day you speak, you grow. Every mistake you make, you learn. Every time you try again, you become stronger. And that is the true power of training your mouth to speak. Adam's journey continued, and he discovered that the greatest reward was not becoming a famous speaker, but becoming a person who could inspire others. He started traveling to different places and sharing his story with people who felt trapped by fear. Everywhere he went, he met people who had dreams but were afraid to express them. Some wanted to give presentations at work, some wanted to make new friends, and some wanted to share their ideas with the world. Adam told them that fear is a wall, but practice is the key that can break that wall. He explained that nobody becomes confident by waiting. Confidence is created by taking action again and again. He shared his own mistakes and told people that even after becoming a good speaker, he still made errors sometimes. The difference was that he no longer feared those mistakes. He learned to accept them and use them as lessons. Many people were surprised when they heard this because they thought confident people never feel nervous. Adam smiled and said, "Confidence does not mean you have no fear. Confidence means you continue even when fear is present." These words changed the way many people looked at speaking. They stopped searching for perfection and started focusing on improvement. Adam also taught them simple habits that helped him grow. He told them to read aloud every day, record their voices, learn new words, and practice conversations. He reminded them that a few minutes of practice every day could create a huge difference over time. Years ago, Adam was the person who stayed silent in every room. Now he was the person who gave courage to others. His voice had become stronger because he trained it with patience and dedication. He realized that every person has a story inside them, but a story cannot change the world if it remains hidden. Words must be spoken, ideas must be shared, and voices must be heard. Adam looked back at his journey and felt grateful for every challenge he faced because those challenges helped him become stronger. He learned that the power of speech is not only in the words we say, but in the courage behind those words. And he continued to share one message with everyone: train your voice, believe in yourself, and never let fear silence the words that are waiting to be heard. As Adam grew older, he realized that his journey was not only about speaking better, it was about becoming a stronger person from the inside. He understood that the real power of a voice comes from confidence, kindness, and the ability to connect with people. He continued helping others because he remembered how difficult his own beginning was. Every time someone told him, "I was afraid to speak, but your story helped me," Adam felt that all his struggles were worth it. He often said that a person's voice is like a light in the darkness. When you use it with honesty and courage, it can guide not only yourself but also others. Adam started writing down his experiences so that more people could learn from his journey. In his writings, he explained that the first step is always uncomfortable, but every great achievement begins with a small action. He shared how he once feared simple conversations, but through daily practice, he became someone who could stand in front of hundreds of people. He reminded everyone that improvement does not happen overnight. A person must be patient and continue practicing even when progress feels slow. There were days when Adam still felt nervous, but he no longer allowed fear to control him. He learned to move forward despite his doubts. This was the biggest difference between the old Adam and the new Adam. The old Adam waited for confidence before taking action, but the new Adam took action and built confidence along the way. Many young people followed his advice and started training their own voices. They practiced speaking, shared their ideas, and discovered talents they never knew they had. Adam felt proud because he realized that one person's transformation could create a chain of positive changes. His own voice, which was once hidden by fear, had become a reason for others to believe in themselves. Adam knew that every person has something valuable to say. Sometimes the world is waiting for a voice that is still afraid to speak. So he continued reminding people that their words matter, their thoughts matter, and their dreams matter. The journey of training your mouth to speak is a journey of courage, growth, and self-discovery. When you train your voice every day, you do not just become a better speaker, you become a stronger and more confident version of yourself. As Adam continued his journey, he discovered that the greatest speakers are not the ones who use the most difficult words, but the ones who can make people feel understood. He learned that a simple message spoken with honesty can be more powerful than a long speech filled with complicated words. Adam started focusing more on the feelings behind his words. He learned to speak with kindness, listen carefully, and understand the people in front of him. He realized that communication is not only about talking, it is about creating a connection. One day, Adam returned to the place where his journey had started. He visited the small place where he had first met the old man who changed his life. He sat there quietly and thought about everything that had happened. He remembered the scared young man who believed he could never speak confidently. He remembered the days of practice, the mistakes, and the moments when he wanted to quit. A smile appeared on his face because he knew that every difficult moment had helped him grow. While sitting there, Adam met another young person who looked worried and afraid. The young person said, "I have many dreams, but I cannot express myself. I feel like my voice is too weak." Adam looked at him and shared the same lesson he had learned many years ago. He said, "A weak voice is not a problem. The problem is giving up before your voice becomes strong. Practice every day and you will see a change." The young person listened carefully and felt hopeful. Adam realized that the lesson had come full circle. The advice he once received was now being passed to someone else. This showed him that true success is not only about personal achievements, it is about helping others rise. Adam continued teaching people that everyone has a unique voice. Nobody needs to copy another person. The goal is not to become someone else. The goal is to become the best version of yourself. He encouraged people to speak even when their voice was shaking because courage grows when you use it. Over time, Adam's message reached many hearts. People who once stayed silent started sharing their ideas. People who once feared judgment started believing in themselves. Adam's story became proof that a person can change their life by changing their daily habits. He learned that training your mouth to speak is not just an exercise for your voice, it is training for your confidence, your courage, and your future. Every word you practice today can become the strength you need tomorrow. After many years of learning and teaching, Adam looked back at his journey with gratitude. He remembered the time when he was afraid to speak even a few simple words, and he compared it with the person he had become. He understood that the biggest change did not happen because of one special moment. It happened because of thousands of small efforts made every day. Every morning he practiced, every mistake he accepted, and every challenge he faced helped him build a stronger voice and a stronger mind. Adam knew that many people around the world were still struggling with the same fear he once had, so he continued sharing his message. He told them that their voice is not just a way to communicate, it is a bridge that connects them with other people. A voice can share dreams, express feelings, solve problems, and inspire change. He reminded everyone that nobody becomes confident by hiding from challenges. Confidence is created when you step forward and try again. Adam also taught that patience is one of the most important parts of growth. Sometimes progress is slow and sometimes you may feel like nothing is changing, but every practice session is building something inside you. Just like a small seed grows into a strong tree with time and care, a weak voice can become powerful with regular training. Adam's story became a lesson for people who wanted to improve themselves. They learned that they did not need perfect grammar, a perfect voice, or perfect confidence to begin. They only needed the courage to take the first step. Years ago, Adam was a person who thought his silence would always control him. But he proved that people can change when they believe in themselves and keep working. His journey showed that the power of speaking is not hidden in the loudness of a voice but in the courage behind it. In the end, Adam shared one final message with everyone: do not hide your voice. Train it, improve it, and use it. The words inside your heart may be the words someone else needs to hear. And from that day forward, Adam continued helping people discover the power that was already inside them, the power to speak, to inspire, and to change their lives.